Oh
I
well.
was serving in the Legion. If there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. So
Everyone
please tell us.
dies. Alright.
Oh, another one fresh out of the baths, I take it.
What's that?
I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
What's your story?
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
I'm not from
Really?
around here.
I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery of our customs. Now, remind me, why are we having this conversation?
What do you think of the Golden
some
Rule?
people say it's the creation of an all-seeing God who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent God would let my sister go missing on his or her watch?
Fair
Did you
question.
hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought.
Well, at least we know blasphemy doesn't break the Golden Rule.
I'm telling you, this mysterious god of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving.
Suppose we'll find out sooner or later.
I suppose we will.
You know a way out of here?
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
Can I help?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
When did you last see her?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
She was seeing someone?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me.
Why is that?
Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
Is it possible her lover was involved?
I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience.
Mightn't
All I know
it?
is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
Sentia? Scintilla? I said Scintilla twice. Why are your names all so
You
similar?
really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest, and my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla.
You look surprisingly relaxed about your sister's disappearance.
Why? Because I'm on this couch and not pacing about the villa, wasting energy. I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
I think you know something you're not telling me.
Ugh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
She's totally telling me bullshit. She's feeding me a load of lies. She killed her sister. All makes sense now. What's up?
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Redbeard.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the piercing and astute eyes of a man of great learning. We're always happy to welcome another scholar to our little community. Equitia will be delighted to meet you, I'm sure. you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains many hundreds of years ago.
It's beautiful, man.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
Can't say I have.
Nor could I until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment, like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
What counts as a sin here?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes, or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I'll just say, makes sense to me.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to remember are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
Did you mean when you said Proserpina had sent me?
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
You're right, I'm from 2,000 years in the future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
You'd all been turned into golden statues.
I have imagined it, our downfall, 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
How does the ritual work?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
I don't remember. I did see human remains in the temple.
I assumed that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
I'll do my best.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
Why can't you
I
investigate?
believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Like with your daughter? Fair enough. Do you have any
You ever
suspects?
stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore. What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
How do I know you're not the person responsible?
Me? Why would you suspect me? I've just told you. I'm about to sacrifice my own life to ensure these people have a second chance. What reason could you possibly have to suspect me, of all people?
Fair point.
I'm glad you think so. Without trust, without each other, we won't be able to prevent what is about to happen.
It's totally him. Think it'd be related to Centilla's disappearance?
Ah, so you know about that already. It's a devastating loss, of course, but that was over 3 weeks ago, and whatever happened to her, it didn't break the golden rule, so I don't think it's connected with our imminent demise. Still, if you happen to find her and return her to me, I would be eternally grateful.
Come on, tell me what you really think.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
If I do this, will you help me get back to my own time?
If I understand Prosperna's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the golden rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
Sure, why not? That's all I had.
Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the golden rule?
All right, I'm in.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
All right, I'll get started.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
I'll get right to it. This will prioritize showing ships markers only. Okay, whatever. Saving. Music is a little too loud. See, it's not there. That's probably better. Yes. Quest journal, that's what I was thinking about. Huh. I have inventory. from Scintilla. Scintilla expresses gratitude to their sentience for adopting her. Okay, I don't know how to leave. Go talk to this woman. See how I feel.
Ave.
Ave. Maria.
You've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation?
Not really. We'll talk about who's going to break the golden rule.
Of course. What is it?
Never mind. I
Why
need more
then did
time.
you say... Oh, it doesn't matter. It looks like you'll have to continue your investigation. Now, was there anything else you wanted to ask?
I was hoping to ask you some questions about my
Ask them.
investigation. But that's all I had.
Now, was there something else you wanted to discuss?
What's your story?
Sextus Imperiosus is my name, though magistrate is the proper way to address me. Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians.
What's a
It's a
decurion?
cavalry officer. I had 30 men under my command. This was my uniform.
Why are you still wearing it?
As magistrate, I usually wear a toga, but today I may need to survive long enough to create the portal for you, so it seemed prudent.
How did you end up here?
My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest.
How'd you come to be
I was
magistrate?
elected 7 months ago, uncontested because of my command experience. Since then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements instead.
Let's talk about something
Very
else.
well.
Do you know a
If
way
I
out of here?
did, I'd have led these people out of here already.
What do you think about the golden
I've
rule?
had plenty of time to think about it. Let me see if I can sum up my thoughts. I've always considered my guiding star to be the well-being of the Roman people. Our survival and prosperity have always hinged upon honoring the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. Give the gods what they want and we all prosper. Dishonor them and we all die. It's as simple as that. The real enemy in this place is not the golden rule, but human failings. The temptation to slide into degeneracy, greed, and hubris. I trust that answers your question. Thank
Better
you.
get back
I'll
to
be
it.
waiting here for news.
Actually, I think I might stop there. Can I just save? New save.